Hello, traders, and this is the Daily Show with myself, Henry Hunt. And today is an interesting day, especially because it's the week following Trump's win in the election. And we've seen some huge moves in crypto, stocks, and commodities, as well as other sectors such as gold and silver. So I want to be covering today primarily crypto and the S&P 500, especially with those huge moves that we've seen over the weekend with crypto, with Bitcoin, Cardano, and many, many others I've personally picked myself in the recent weeks. So without wasting any time, I want to go straight into the analysis here. I want to go into the S&P 500 and what happened last week in terms of the heat map. So if we look at the heat map here, we see that tech did fairly well with Nvidia gaining 9.6%, and a few other players here in tech gaining around 11, 13, 8%. So across the board, around 7 or 8% here in tech. And then we had Palantir doing exceptionally well here with 39%. So unbelievable gains there with Palantir. And then we had Tesla. This is one of the trades that I made as a hedge against, as a trade for Trump winning the election. And I made around 30% on this trade because I entered 2 weeks before. But as you can see here, all green, bar a few industries. One of them is utilities. This is one of the industries that I think Trump will be looking to increase fracking and obviously increase oil production, and oil prices have suffered since Trump's win. With Kamala, what was happening is electric car and renewable energy companies such as Plug, one of the investments I made last week as well, prior to Kamala losing the election, ran much higher. Givo and a few other players that I've played here in the growth stock section in terms of the renewable energy sector, they were doing exceptionally well, and I think they would have done exceptionally well if Kamala did win. Unfortunately, that would have also led to oil prices going higher and utilities probably doing well with a Kamala win. So that's not happening there yet. So we're going to see, this is one of the industries that I want to look at in the next few weeks and months for that reversal, so that it's a bit beaten down. There's a few stocks there that I like, and I'm looking at this as a potential industry to go into and cycle capital into. And usually utilities doesn't do well when there's investors going into risky assets such as growth stocks and Russell 2000 and so on. Health tech isn't doing well, and I think this may or may not be connected to the Robert F. Kennedy partnership with Trump, with Robert F. Kennedy being responsible for making America healthy again. I think Big Pharma might suffer here with some legal cases, especially with Robert F. Kennedy being a lawyer and having already fought cases against Big Pharma and being an environmentalist lawyer as well, in previous to being involved in children's health. So that's essentially the heat map here for the S&P 500. So if we go into some other analysis I wanted to cover for the S&P 500, I wanted to go into the fact that we had a dip in the S&P 500 prior to the election. And usually this doesn't happen. So usually what happens is we get a dip during and slightly after the election. So we get a dip, we're going into the election, and we get a dip a few weeks after, with the markets typically bottoming out, going into a bottom around the 21st of November, typically. So if I share with you guys my following chart here, you'll see that in 2020 we saw that dip around the 21st, 25th, 26th of November, and then we saw a move higher into or after the election. And that's one of the things that you typically see in the S&P 500 post-election. You see a move higher and we get a trending market. This is one of the logarithmic scale charts I've looked at recently. As you can see here, generally after an election, you get some upside. So every time there's an election, you get an upside. It doesn't really matter who wins the election. Although, as you can see here, when it's a red and a blue around the zone here, it was fairly, let's say, flat around this period, but there's other factors there that cause that. But generally speaking, post-election, you get some momentum coming in and the market moves higher. With where we are in the market, I think this chart here shows that we might be about 2 years into a bull run. Okay, so with that being the case, I don't think that's the case, but if that is the case, then we have 3 years of a bull run, which basically means that we could see prices in the S&P 500 and the indices, as well as stocks, going much, much higher here. But I doubt this. I think we could potentially get a move into, let's say, 2025, end of 2025, early 2026, where the markets are performing well, and then we probably get a dip of some sort, especially considering the valuations in the market and other factors. But again, it depends, because those are too far ahead in advance for me to predict. It's just, this is a nice chart to kind of see where we potentially are in this current bull run. 2 years average potentially could be around 3.5, 4 years, meaning we go into 2025 and then early 2026, and then we get a dip in the market. That's something to think about. Obviously, for us to look into in the next few weeks and months. But overall, with the S&P 500, what I'm seeing the market slightly overextended, in my opinion. Although, when we're looking at the RSI here, there's no real overextension, I think, comparatively to these other moments, such as July and August of this year, when we saw this huge uptick, and then we saw a huge drop because of that Japanese carry trade. I think we can see potentially 6,100 for sure. It's hard to predict where this market will go, but if we use just a Fibonacci extension here, we can see that the market could potentially go to 6,100. There's a number of other factors here to look at, but with the election coming in, it is looking very bullish. I am overall, in terms of the medium term, the long term, bullish, but in the short term, I wouldn't be surprised if we got a dip in the market and then we had that much higher move, especially considering that data that I gave you earlier, which is around the 21st of November, or around mid to late November is when the market bottoms out. I thought that we would get that over here when we had this dip of around 3.2%. Typically that drop pre-election is around 4%. We just got 3% here. Maybe this was a more aggressive buy because of Trump's influence on the market and the optimism that he brings into the market. I am obviously in multiple trades as a swing trader, multiple trades in the long side, so there is no reason for me to essentially not want the bull run. But I am very cautious here, because I think there can be some resistance around 6,000 and around 6,100. If we go into other indicators, if you do just a general overview of the indicators and where we are in the markets, technically, moving averages are very, very strong. So moving average indicators like the MACD, but also moving averages themselves, price now is over all these key moving averages with a strong buy. So I don't see necessarily any selling off here. And if you look at this chart here that I have a channel, but also I have the 10 and 20 EMA, which I like to use personally for my trading. You can see that it's slightly overextended from the 10 EMA, but it is over the 10 EMA. With price being over 10 EMA, usually we get strength, as you can see previously here around the period of May to July, and obviously previously up until March it was above those two EMAs, and we get that key momentum coming in. A price usually, when it dips, gets bought up again in the S&P 500, typically. Okay, so that's the general summary of the technical analysis, and obviously, we will be looking at some trades and some ideas in the next section of this video. Now, I want to go into another sector before I go into some ideas and trades in the stock market. I will be covering those at the end of the video with some technical analysis where I share those ideas. I want to go into crypto. Primarily, I want to go into talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then discussing briefly altcoins and what's happening with altcoins. I've taken a number of trades in altcoins, and I spoke heavily around July about altcoins being the best opportunity that you have to make some serious money in the markets. And of course, as well as growth stocks and a few other industries and sectors that I've identified over the last 3 to 6. So with crypto, I'm going to do a general overview here, right? And I want to say that typically with Bitcoin, and if we're covering Bitcoin, post-election, it's usually bullish. Even in 2020, it was fairly bullish. As we know, 2020 was a big move in the market. We saw price. I traded from 10K to 60K, even though right now we have this arch here where we're arching upwards, or let's say a cup. We are now seeing that move much, much higher. And I spoke about this in my Telegram group with my members there. Free Telegram group, by the way. If you want to join, you can join via the link below in the description. With Bitcoin, to get straight into the point here with Bitcoin, is it's going to move higher, and it has moved higher. And I personally think that we can go to around 100K before we see any real resistance or a dip, and then maybe we can get into higher levels like this 200 or 400K level where we get a really significant trending move. So Bitcoin's already showing signs here. I'm going to cover the TA for Bitcoin anyway, because we saw over the weekend Bitcoin hit over 80K, and we've seen today Bitcoin at 82K. So it keeps pushing higher. There's strong momentum there with Bitcoin. I think 100K is a guarantee. 120K is probably the level that I'm looking at, which is a Fibonacci extension level. It's really difficult to really assess here where the price will go. So I tend to use some Fibonacci extensions or just logic. And I think about these kind of psychological areas such as 100K, 120K. Again, we know why Bitcoin was bought. It was the Trump factor. Again, we know that, after that dip to 54K for the third time, 52K, that was the support that it needed to move higher. And around 60K is where I bought my Bitcoin on this swing upwards. And so I'm here now in a trade, and I'm making some considerable amount of money here, and I'm around 25-30% profit from where I entered. Going into some technical analysis, I don't want to go too much into technical analysis, but I want to go into, let's say, the indicators, where I want to go into what the indicators are saying, and then I'll share my chart here with TradingView with Bitcoin and where I was looking and the levels I was assessing prior to entering my trades. Now where I think everything will go. As you can see here, both. So the summary is a strong buy, and if you look at moving averages again, strong buy. There's plenty of other indicators that are strong buy at the moment, but the oscillators are also a buy. That's kind of worrying to me, because with the oscillators such as the RSI and many others, they tend to be leading indicators. So when they become overbought, I tend to look for shorting opportunities. So here, when it's a strong buy, yes, the momentum can carry through, but I'm carefully and cautiously looking for that dip in the market to be able to exit, take my profit, and then re-enter on a dip or a continuation play in the market. So yeah, be very cautious here, because if Bitcoin does dip, it will impact the rest of the market, especially for you guys that are invested in altcoins. I would be worried about that dip in Bitcoin because it is overextended. Now, when we look at the Bitcoin chart, this is my personal Bitcoin chart and the analysis that I've provided over the last few months to my members on Telegram, as well as on social media. I primarily use Instagram and TikTok. And now I'm getting into YouTube and sharing these ideas and trades with you guys. So as you can see here, there is a long period of consolidation. This is a bull flag, right? So we had a bull run here, a bull flag for an extended period of time. This was basically an accumulation zone. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we had this pop off in the market, which we've had recently. Personally, I've traded these moves up and down as a swing trader. I've made money on these moves up and down throughout the last 6 months. And I had this key pivot point here around 60K where I thought if it goes above 60K on this occasion after triple tests, so triple bottom around the 52K area, that we could see price go much, much higher and retesting the zone. This was a key resistance zone. It did resist temporarily, but then this candle, this green candle here, is where Trump wins the election, and then post-election we've seen multiple days of green price action. And as you can see, entering around the 63K area here was where I was looking at. I entered originally a trade here, then another trade around this area, around above 60K. So I am now a considerable amount of profit on this trade, and I'm looking to ride this, like I said, to around 120K, 100K, and then all depending on weakness. If I can get some weakness, then I'll probably exit. As you can see here, RSI is overextended. There's plenty of other factors that are going to make this overextended. So it is a bit worrying in terms of you traders that are investing in altcoins. Altcoins will move down aggressively if Bitcoin does sell off, unless we have an altcoin season. So with Bitcoin, these are my trades, the last two trades. I have this one here for around, I think it was around 7-8%, and then now this one is around 16% in profit, and it can run up higher. I tend to reinvest all of my profits back into Bitcoin. I essentially use it as a long-term investment, but I swing trade it. So every profit that I make, I reinvest. I don't just trade proportionally based on the account size that I have, and I don't really spread out my funds. I trade Bitcoin, I trade Ethereum, and I trade a few other altcoins. I mainly focus on the big altcoins here. I don't focus on the meme coins, even though I do trade meme coins like Shiba and Doge occasionally. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. Now I want to go into... Actually, I wanted to say that if I do expect a dip here anytime soon, I'm expecting around the 76K area. That would be ideal. Or maybe a retest. It'll be perfect actually if we get a retest here at the 72, 74K level of this resistance area that now becomes support, and then we go back higher. That would be amazing, but we'll see what will happen here in the markets. If you can get that final dip, then we're getting real momentum coming in because we're going to get new buyers coming into the market. So with the next crypto I want to cover is Ethereum. So with Ethereum, I'm going to do a quick summary here in terms of where I stand with Ethereum. I've been waiting since August for that reversal trade to go higher. And when it broke down this area of 2.8K, 3K, I was very worried about the state of Ethereum. I thought maybe we could go even lower. We found support around the 2.2, 2.3K area. And this was an area where I was noticing that there was plenty of accumulation. If you guys follow Mark Minervini and other people, you'll probably know this is like a VCP or a wedge or whatever you want to call it. But there was a clear wedge forming here. And I could see that price was bouncing off that trend line moving upwards, and it was due to move higher. So I entered on the Trump momentum on the Thursday, and then we've seen this key momentum here now with 20% profit. But I am very cautious again. when I see price action being this extended, I do expect a dip. And if we do get a dip, the ideal position for that dip is similar to Bitcoin with that retest of the resistance area. I want to turn this into support again. Okay, so I want price to come back down around 3K to 2.8K, turn that into support again. I guarantee you that's where the real momentum will come in. If it doesn't come in prior to that, that's where the real momentum will come in to drive this higher to 4K and maybe even 5 and 10K, like many, many other Ethereum enthusiasts predict that Ethereum could achieve. So in the short term, I am bullish. In the long term, I am bullish. In the short term, in the real, like let's say the next few weeks or so, I do expect a dip soon. So in the next few weeks, I expect a dip. In the medium term, push much, much higher in Ethereum. And this is one of the trades that I gave for free on the Telegram group that I have. There's about 200 members there. You guys are free to join via the link in the bio. But I also gave plenty of other ideas that I gave Cardano, which has been doing insane here numbers in terms of the percentages that it is gaining per day. I think yesterday was around 30-40% in just one day. So yeah, there's plenty of other ideas that you guys can go into. But with Ethereum, let's continue back to Ethereum here. When you look at the technicals, an overview of the technicals, I don't really want to cover specific technicals here, like MACD or whatever, or moving averages. I just want to cover an overview here. It's not overbought, but it's a strong buy, okay, on the moving averages. Obviously, it's above all the key moving averages, especially that 10 and 20 EMA. With price being above those, we have a shift in momentum, and we're going to go much higher. With oscillators, it's also a buy. That's across the board, I think, with crypto now. All of them are buy. It just depends whether that momentum will continue. And like I said, I'm cautious here. There will be a dip because of that slight overextension on the moving averages here. As you can see, price has extended too much above these moving averages, and either it needs a dip or it needs time to consolidate around this area and then drive higher. So that's crypto there for you. I do now want to go into some ideas. I want to go into what we can look at in terms of ideas. And I want to focus on the trades I took last week with my stock trades. So we're going back to stocks now. With stocks, I traded on Q. Okay. This quantum computer company, great growth stock. I already traded this for 85% profit on this original turning point, this original reversal trade that I call. So we got a nice reversal here, breakout of this consolidation area here, and the key trend line, as well as a number of other factors like key EMAs, RSI, momentum coming in, and plenty of other reasons why I bought this as a stock. And we made 84% on this, my group and I. And then we waited for that dip. We were worried about the election, so we just exited here just in case growth stocks didn't do well post-election, if Trump didn't win, and so on. And then I rebought it, and we had this huge upside move for another 60%. So in total, I am up with the reinvested amount that I put in 214%. Okay, that's one of the trades that I do recommend that you guys look at. IonQ was one of my big winners last week. We also invested in Tesla in my Telegram group and my private members group. We invested in this way in advance on earnings because of this key candle here, when we had surprise earnings of 21% higher than expected. I was trying to enter this plenty of times before that. I entered it here once. I took some profit for 5% because I was worried about that dip. I didn't like this dip, but then I re-entered again on the 23rd of October on earnings. And I was worried about this dip here temporarily, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to let this ride through here. I am in profit, and either I make money or I go break even. So I've left it, and now we are in a position where we've made, in just over 2 weeks, we've made probably just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, we've made around 40% on this trade. Okay. So way ahead of an election, we already positioned ourselves in a company that was essentially a Trump play. There's plenty of other Trump plays that we had here as well. Plenty of other companies that were in the Russell 2000 that we traded and we are trading at the moment. Another trade that I made again on the hardware sector is QBTS, so D-Wave Quantum Inc. Again, very similar here. Move up higher. I didn't get a nice trade here initially. It dipped. I sold it for around break even, and then re-entered again where I originally entered, which is around the $1.1 dollar price. And then now we have a move that's completely showing parabolic style momentum here. So 57% in just 4 days. And I expect this to probably go higher, but we do have earnings, so there's probably some fears here of earnings. So let's see how it moves in the next few days. 57% straight away. Other ideas that I have in the markets are, there's a few other ones that I was looking at recently. Which was one of them that I missed, actually. That was 55% gain. We had, probably best to go into the Telegram group and see what we have as ideas. I want to give you guys some ideas for free here. Even if you don't join the group, I'm going to give you some ideas of the stocks I was looking at, I am looking at. Okay, so where are we? Okay, I did a screen recently. Where are we? Okay, I like OPTN. These are basically stocks that I shared this a few days ago, so I don't know what's happened with it. But yeah, OPTN, I think huge upside here. I think it's just been beaten down heavily, as you can see, due a reversal, multiple tests here on price. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times we've had these dips, these mini little dips. 1 and then 2 here and 2 here, 2, 3 here, and then we're looking to break out now above. So with this one, I think we can achieve probably a 1 to on this one. The other one is, where is the other one? IPSH. So IPSC. There you go. It might have moved. We don't know. But yeah, this one is due a breakout, in my opinion. There's plenty of other ones that I had last week, especially on that Trump momentum. But a lot of these trades have already moved. I will be looking at some new ones today, and I'll be sharing those in the Telegram for you guys to have as ideas. Whether you trade them or not, it's up to you. I give them for free anyway. So let's go into crypto now. Okay, let's go into some technicals on crypto. Like I said, I'm expecting a slight dip in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I probably expect the same thing for the rest of the market, to be honest. It needs it. I think it needs this final dip here around 74k, and then like key momentum to come in. With other trades that I've placed last week, you have Cardano here, one that I've shared multiple times, and you can go to the Telegram group and check all the times I've shared Cardano as an idea that I was patiently waiting for to break out, because we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we can even count these, 9, 10 tests of price around that area. People buying the dip here constantly, and it's just a zone for accumulating. And then since then, we've gone up as high as 76% on my trade, and I am currently up around 60% on this trade. Then we have Matic, and we have TRB. I did invest in TRB, which I haven't moved up here to my list. TRB was also an idea that I had. We have Matic. Matic is a good idea even now, to be honest. So let's go back to Matic as an idea for you guys to trade in the coming weeks. It hasn't moved, or Polygon, but Matic essentially. I'm looking for a key breakout around this area, okay? I traded a little bit early around the 0.37 area, but I'm looking for a key breakout around 0.4. If we get 40 cents, above 40 cents here, well, then we can go all the way up, I think, back to a dollar plus, right? So I think we can go over there. But realistically, we're looking at this area here for 1-to-5 risk reward ratio. So Matic is also still very good to trade. Currently, another good trade, potential trade, is SC, so SIA coin. You're going to see here, it does run really well when there's a trend. As you can see here in end of 2023, it ran exceptionally well here. And now it's consolidated again with huge sell-offs. And I think we're going to get another run very, very soon if we get this push higher in the markets. So yeah, this is another one. And I think it's not too late for you guys to trade these ones. If you're looking to trade some of the ideas I have, I will be providing more ideas in the Telegram group. So do go and join that completely for free, because I love to share valuable information with you guys. TRB was also a trade that I took. Huge gains here. TRB is one of those pumpy coins that doesn't really run, but it has these huge gains. And the reason why I wanted to trade it was I saw it go 600% here, and I was watching it to enter. I missed entry, went 600%, and now I'm really looking to take advantage of this move here recently, where I think it can go much, much higher, back to those levels where I can make maybe around 300-400% on this. So it's an easy trade here. We've also had Sui, which has been amazing. This is a trade that one of my Telegram members took, and I've been trying to guide him on how to manage this. As you can see, overextended here a little bit, but the momentum is still there, still high momentum. New ideas will come out today and tomorrow in the next few days, especially if we get a little dip in the Telegram group. So do join that. Okay, so the final bit of this video is me covering some other sectors and markets. I want to cover commodities here. And I want to go into, let's go into the dollar index. It's very important right now, the dollar, for the state of the economy and the US. We've seen the dollar rise considerably. We had a slight dip. Now I'm getting a retest of this resistance area. And I think here we should see a dip in the dollar. And obviously we're going to get a rise in euro and pound and a few other currencies. So that's something I'm looking for here with the dollar. I don't trade Forex, but I wouldn't mind a slight dip in the dollar to impact the markets. I also want to go into the NASDAQ, right? So S&P 500 is what I usually focus on because it kind of covers a broad level of the economy in the US, especially because it has 500 companies. Here, I want to cover the NASDAQ really quickly. Some drawings here that need to be deleted. I had this area here. If you go to the Telegram, you would have seen for weeks this area as a retest area and then potential resistance. I also thought that we could potentially get a dip prior to the election, as I mentioned in the S&P 500 analysis, and we didn't get that. So we've got this move up higher, and I do think that we're going to get a resistance around this area and then a dip. If that dip comes in soon, then we might just get that dip that I wanted pre-election to happen on the 21st, around the 20th of November, and then we get the final rise to all-time highs in the NASDAQ. The Russell 2000 is one that I've been watching very carefully because the Russell 2000 is where I think the most opportunities are. So the Russell 2000 and the S&P 500 and 600 mid caps, so the S&P 600, mid caps and small caps, are where the real money is right now on this potential bull run, because the large caps have already run. They've already done huge numbers. I think they'll do well, But I think if you want to make some serious money, like I have with IOQ and QBTS, 50, 60% in a couple of days, Russell 2000 and S&P 600 small medium caps are where the money is. With the Russell 2000, I was expecting a breakout above this all-time high area, which was a key area that's to be tested multiple times, and I was expecting a retest of the all-time high at 2,400. I've been trading Russell 2000 stocks since August, right? So we're looking around August here, around this area where it was about 2,000. So I was expecting a rise in price of around 15% in the index. And if I was selecting, and I am selecting very well here, the stocks I am trading within the Russell 2000, I potentially was expected to make maybe 50, 60% in that same period. So that's really what I've been looking at and how I've been trading. Just trading stocks that are going to pop off on momentum in the Russell 2000, and it's been paying off lately. It's one of the indices that has underperformed, and there's a few other charts that I've shared in the Telegram where the S&P 500 versus the mid caps, you see this huge disparity between the valuations between the large caps and the medium caps. The medium caps now are, I think, very good in terms of the valuations. So we have to watch those. And then, let's cover the French market, which is in consolidation here. And I do think that we could get a huge move up in the CAC. And then we have the UK 100, the FTSE, huge consolidation here. I don't really trade FTSE stocks, even though I'm based in the UK. The volatility isn't there, the money isn't there. US stocks are where everything is. Oil is very important right now for one of my setups, one of my plays. And one of the plays that I'm looking at now is playing utilities. Okay. I've said it a number of times on Telegram. I want a retest of $65 level here. This area here again before I look at buying oil stocks. So I want this to drop, and it's dropping here as we're watching it live. I want it to go to 65, a retest. I want it to find support, and then I want to buy up some oil and utility stocks. That's what I'm looking for. That's exactly what's happening right now. So I'm being very patient here, but that's the next play for me. And one of those plays is Oxy. Okay, this company is what I'm looking to play in the next few months, depending on when it finds support, oil finds support. But as you can see here, 1, 2, 3 retests, 4 retests now, maybe even a deeper price action. We get a bullish divergence here on the RSI, price moving, creating lower lows, and the RSI creating higher highs. We get that bullish divergence, and then we get the momentum coming in because the selling power will essentially selling off would have died out. Okay, so that's oil. That's one of the plays I'm looking at. I'm looking at natural gas as well because I like to look at natural gas. I've recently played this trade moving up, moving here, and then this one, and then this third one here as well. So I'm looking only long here on natural gas. I haven't shorted recently because I like this double bottom. I'm liking the retest of the same area here, a retest of this resistance area becoming support, and then the move higher. And as you can see here, natural gas 7.9% today. Crazy just for a commodity to do 7.9% in a day. Okay, so let's go to metals. I like to do with metals really quickly, and we'll finish off this section of commodities because the video is becoming quite long. I want to finish off in under 30 minutes. I did it, we didn't have 40 minutes. Gold is a short. Okay, gold is a short in my opinion. When I did my analysis during the week, I looked at this and I said it's a 50-50 coin flip here because we don't know if it can go all the way to the extension here. Now it is a short, and in fact, I should be shorting it right now. So as soon as I get out of this video recording, I will be looking at shorting gold here heavily. So silver's the same. Short here. I like the short on silver. Very, very nice. I thought that we could potentially get a long. As you can see, it hasn't broken up above this area here that I would have looked at potentially long in. And now I'm looking at shorting it because of the price action is aligning with my strategy to go short. But let's see. Okay, so final bit that I wanted to cover is the 10-year treasury. This is something that you guys definitely need to cover here. Bonds are very important. This will be the final part, and then we'll discuss the markets tomorrow, and then at the end of the week, I do a longer session, which is end of week Sunday session with myself. Okay, so we had this huge dip. We had a very, very powerful buy up here post interest rate hikes. We've had that move going higher, and I had this area here where multiple trend lines converge as a resistance area, and that's exactly what's happened here at the moment. And I do expect it to go at least to 4.1% here. So a drop of 4% on the price. So comparatively from 4.4% to 4.1% on the yield. And this should be good, I think, for the economy. Let's see. I don't necessarily like bonds going higher, but it is what it is. And usually there's an inverted correlation with the S&P 500. And finally, let's go into the VIX. Finally, I think today we're seeing a bit of pickup on the volatility. The main reason is, look, there is a retest of this area at 15.3 or 15. Okay, so retest, it's become very volatile. There is less fear now in the market, especially after the election. We could even go down as low as 11 here with a euphoria that comes in from the Trump election. But let's see. I am, like I said, watching this carefully. And if I do think that we get a spike up on this, hopefully we do soon, then we're going to get a dip in the market, like I said, hopefully before the 21st of November. But that's it for me today. I don't want to be dragging out this too long. If you guys are interested in bite-sized videos where I provide analysis, I do have an Instagram where I share 30 to 90-second videos pretty much every day, every other day about the markets, bite-sized content for you guys to consume. And if you guys want more ideas to trade during this week, go and join the Telegram group. The link is in the bio. Free ideas there. If you guys provide me with some ideas that you have and you want me to analyze it and give you my insights and analysis on those ideas, you can share them in that Telegram group. It's an interactive discussion there. We all discuss ideas and it's a bit of fun. I tend to share a lot more than everybody else because it's my group. But go ahead and join that, and maybe you'll find an idea like IonQ, like Bitcoin, like Cardano, and many, many others that I've shared recently that you can trade yourself and make some serious money. Take care. Until tomorrow.